Hey everybody! Thank you for tuning into the first episode of Shenanigans. This is just a sports podcast. Me and my buddy, we just love to talk ball, and we wanted to document it all and have our takes on the internet. Great thing. I'm Jordan. That's Caleb.
Hello.
And to introduce ourselves, I figure let's get acquainted with everybody and get really everybody to love us. So let's share our opinions on every single team and start with power rankings.
All
The
right.
Shenanigans power rankings. But before we begin on that, Caleb, how you been this week?
Oh, I've been fucking amazing! My Michigan Wolverines won the national championship. Woo! Let's go, Blue Baby. But, man, other than that, I just got to give a shout out to Team 144 of the Michigan Wolverines, whoever's listening. I doubt any Michigan Wolverine is listening, but if you are listening, shout out to y'all, Team 144, and congratulations. Players like J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, Zach Zinter, Mullings, Chris Jenkins, Mason Graham, Junior Colson, Michael Barrett, Will Johnson, Mikey Sanderstill, Rod Moore. I'm missing a hell of a lot more for sure. Roman Wilson, Samaj Morgan, Colston Loveland, Cornelius Johnson. I'm missing a lot of y'all. But shout out to y'all for real. Y'all have made this season. Y'all have made the state of Michigan great again. And I know y'all will do well in the NFL.
Biggest Michigan fan I know. I can't wait to put that should be our image for the first episode when we put it up on YouTube. Just that face of you screaming when y'all made the title game. That's perfect. There's this image of Caleb screaming his face off because they made the game in a close game, and he didn't even make that face when they won the actual game. It was perfect. It was just like it's just what a moment and what a face.
I'm sorry, man. The Rose Bowl was a little more special to me. That game was closer. Like, within, I think the third quarter, we scored again on Washington, and it pretty much just looked like we were going to win anyways. We looked like the better team throughout that whole game against Washington. So it's kind of hard to be as excited for that than a win in overtime in the Rose Bowl against one of the greatest head coaches of all time, Nick Saban, who just retired.
You know me. I don't really like college ball that much, but I'm glad you enjoyed that so much. It was a great moment for you, and I watched it a little bit so I could tune in and have some of that excitement with you. I think it's a slow, boring game, college ball, but I'm just pretty casual. I like the dogs though; they're cool.
Go
So when we
Dogs!
begin these power rankings, would you like to start at the top with the best teams in the league, or at the bottom with the Panthers?
Might as well start off with the bottom with the Panthers, just so we get our playoff teams in last.
Starting with the Panthers, it really sucks for them because they have the worst record, obviously, but they're just totally screwed in the future for now. Like they have no picks. I'm pretty sure don't have a second round pick either. So we all know that they don't have the first overall pick. That goes to the Bears, but I'm pretty sure the Bears also have that second rounder, which so their
Do
next
they
pick is in
really?
the third or a late second. Yeah, their future's looking bleak for at least another year.
That's insane.
You
What
know, I'm
a
I'm a
horrible
believer in Bryce.
trade, man, in retrospect.
Yeah, but I mean, what would they have done? Yeah, I think the Bears could have fleeced them more. Honestly, they could have probably drafted some sort of receiver. They could have got Puka Nakua in the draft at any point, and then they could have had like Brian Burns on their defense instead of DJ Moore. But this also turned out pretty great for them. But with the Panthers, it just sucks for Bryce Young. Really, that's all I have to say about that. I like the guy, and there's no success.
You know what? I like him too, and I do think there is a bit of overhating on his part. I don't think that definitely that problem in Carolina definitely is not like 100% his fault, and I'm pretty sure most people know that, but a lot of people like to put the blame on the quarterback first. Like,
Yeah, I mean, let's just hope in year two he can get like more acquainted with the NFL game and see some stride of improvement.
oh yeah, I'm sure he'll improve.
And so at number 31, we've got the Patriots up next. They're in a pretty good spot. They're not in quite the best spot. They won a few too many games to guarantee their choice of quarterback, but there will be probably Jaden Daniels or maybe a Drake May, depending on who
Shit,
moves
even
up, what happens
maybe
in the
even
first two
Caleb
picks.
Williams. Who knows?
I mean, Caleb
I
You know,
doubt he drops that far,
I
but
don't
you never know.
I don't think with Caleb's attitude that we've seen so far that he's going to enjoy the Patriot way quite that much. You know,
Well, who knows? Bill Belichick is gone now, but they did just hire Gerard Mayo.
their whole identity is like the Patriot way, so I don't think they're going to abandon that ideology just yet.
Yeah, I
You know, I
doubt.
think they're going to be a little strict and try probably go for May if he's there.
Oh yeah, I I believe that too.
Sucks for them. Their year just was they had so many injuries on defense and then just no strides on offense. Juju didn't do anything. Zeke was probably their best signing and they're probably their best player like all the more moments I've seen since I watch Red Zone. So every big New England moment I've seen this year was probably a Zeke one that I can remember.
Man, I miss him down here in Dallas, man.
Yeah, you know, we'll get to Dallas not quite yet, but we'll get there. They're an exciting team as well. Uh, they're a more exciting team than the Patriots. But at number 30, we've got your division rival Washington. You know they've got a premium pick as well. But I'm wondering it's about who's going to be declaring. You know, their pick. You know, their pick is not going to mean success there unless they get a good coach. That's been quite a franchise. You know, skewered and just I don't know, bad juju. Got a lot of bad vibes going on there. And
Just the place where quarterbacks go to die.
I mean, you know, they're. I had a theory when Panthers were selecting at number one, they were going to go with AR to try and do Cam Newton too. And I feel like with the Washington Commanders, they would totally try to go for like Jaden Daniels to do RG3 the second,
Oh my
and just try
gosh.
to revive their whole. They want to have that same sort of vibe they had, that hope before they ruined it. You know, a lot of the things I've read about that situation, though, he ruined it himself too. So maybe
Let's
Jaden Daniels won't be so stubborn like RG3.
let's just hope they get themselves a new field, a new stadium, and everything with this new owner group they have. And they just took a big first step. They just hired, I believe, the 49ers assistant GM or something as their GM, or it was their former GM, something like that. I forgot the exact news article, but they hired someone today as their general manager, and it makes me think that Washington may be in the right direction with this new owner group.
I'm definitely excited to see who coach they get. You know, that would be a cool place for Bill Belichick to go. Honestly, you know, I like that team's design. Like I like the pieces they have. Just that quarterback piece is not quite. It's not quite met the standards that they want. So, you know,
Oh,
Sam Howell looked to be bright, and then you're just like, what happened? He was leading the league in passing, and then he lost his mojo. I don't know,
I want to
but
know what happened to that defense, man. That was the thing that even got them into the playoffs as a 7-9 team, like just years before, and even continuing after that year, they were known to have a pretty solid defense and just be a mid team, and now their defense like just completely fell off the earth. You know, it's
it
weird.
sounds like wasn't that Chase Young's rookie year?
Was that? I
It
believe
sounds.
it
I'm pretty
was.
sure that would make a lot of sense. You know, he was a pretty impactful player. He was the rookie of the year. You know, so I mean, I'm a big believer of surprises like that matter in your year, and then the next year it'll be a little. Obviously less surprising and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
So
that makes sense.
you,
Finding out your scheme and all that.
oh yeah, like Lamar was what his first year starting, he was an MVP.
Yeah, 14-2 MVP.
But like they knew he was there as a rookie, but he hadn't been playing.
Yeah, he hadn't
But
been introduced to
we have
NFL
spent
defenses yet.
we have spent too much time on the Commanders. At number 29, we have the Giants. You know, what's their pick at? They're set up kind of nice, but they have Daniel Jones. You know, that's a big thing. That really sucks for them.
It
That
does.
contract is horrible.
Nobody understood why they even picked him that high, anyways.
I mean, not just picking him, but like the contract they just gave him. Way too many years, way too much. You know, like if you would have made it like a 2 or 3 year deal, something like that. But he fleeced them for that security.
Oh yeah, he got them. Brian Daboll really made them think that he was fucking good, dude.
Yeah, I mean, get Saquon out of there, rebuild. Tommy DeVito's cool or whatever, but he ain't gonna be it.
Tommy Gatlets.
And at number 28, we have the Chargers. It really sucks for their year. Austin Eckler fell off the planet. That defense got really injured. I know you don't like Joey Bosa, but
I
he
hate
got
Joey
hurt.
Bosa, but that sucks. Prayers up to Joey.
Khalil Mack had a great year. That was probably their highlight because Herbert got banged up.
I know, Khalil Mack. What a comeback season.
Yeah, thank God they didn't extend Eckler. He's going to be gone next year. Maybe y'all will pick him up. It can be Pollard and Eckler both as feature backs for each other.
Maybe. I want another running back so bad.
And anything else on the Chargers? Oh yeah, Jim Harbaugh should go there.
I think Jim Harbaugh should stay his happy little self down in Ann Arbor, Michigan, but we'll see what happens.
It's the same colors. It's blue and yellow. He loves blue and yellow. He'll go be a Charger. Just that makes sense to me.
It's a
And
different kind of blue, a different kind of yellow, but who knows?
at 27, we have the New York Jets. It really sucks for them as well that Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I was really personally excited for them because I thought, Aaron Rodgers is out of Green Bay. And, I think personally he's more likable as a Jet, and Green Bay is more likable without him. So I was excited for them. But this has truly been a sad year, especially with Dalvin Cook falling flat
I
pretty
was
badly.
excited too. I was like, at the beginning of the year, I was like kind of hyped. Even though I don't really like the Jets, I don't really like to see them do good. I was very interested in that three-man NFC, or not NFC, AFC East run, race between the Dolphins, Bills, and Jets, but we didn't get that. Hopefully
And
next
then
year we get that.
the Jets, they're going to trade for Devontae and Bakhtiari and Aaron Jones. They're going to be
Oh my
the
God.
Green Bay Jets for a year until Rodgers is gone. After if they get a ring, he's gone. If not, he'll probably be gone after that, and then the Jets will be left with this residue of the Green Bay Jets.
Yeah, Jets are old. They just want to win now.
They're not old.
They're
Aaron
not.
is.
Well, that's
Everything
what I
else
meant.
is old.
I meant Aaron's old.
They will be old when they trade for all these people. They're gonna get old and then have this weird mix.
They could be like the Bucks, man. They could just have that old quarterback win them one. Then after he leaves, they're just stuck with their young players again, who aren't really young anymore. They're kind of like middle-aged, players in their prime, and they're like, "What do we do now without a quarterback?" But I mean, the Bucks got one now.
Oh yeah. And after the Jets at number 26, we have the Cardinals. There's not much to be excited about on the Cardinals at eye level, whatever. Except Kyler. But I'm a big Trey McBride guy. I like Greg Dortch and Rondale Moore. They're not big receivers, they're not anything crazy, but they're good little guys.
I like Dortch.
Kyler's made the best of them, and James Conner's awesome, and he's not gonna be great for too long, but he was great this year. Yeah, and unfortunately, it didn't translate to wins.
Some people might kind of be mad about the Cardinals being this high on our list at number 26 over teams like, I don't know, Chargers, the Jets, maybe the Giants, teams who have the same amount or more wins than them. But I think it's pretty justifiable where we have it, because the Cardinals have kind of stepped it up within the last few weeks since Kyler came back just a tiny bit. And they've also played some good teams pretty close this year. So I don't think the Cardinals are nearly as bad as their record indicates.
They're definitely improving under Gannon, and their defense is it seems pretty. What was it? It's hard to run on. I'm pretty sure he's high in one of the running or passing categories. I can't remember, but his defense has been improving, and Kyler does Kyler things.
Of course,
I'm just a big Kyler fan, even though I'm a Rams fan. It's really stupid. But he's freaking fun to watch, man. When he's running around, he looks like an ant, a really fast ant. It's just entertaining.
I could see every single tiny little step he takes with his runs.
Oh yeah, yeah. It sounds like little tapping sounds. Yeah. Next we got number 25. We have the Titans, just above the Cardinals. You know, they probably should have fell a little bit at this point, but you know, this year they had was, you know, it surpassed what I thought they were going to do. I didn't think DeAndre Hopkins was going to do as good as he did. I thought Derrick Henry was going to slow down. He didn't. He decided to just like launch up right at the end of the year in rushing yards and just propel himself into free agency. Mike Vrabel's gone, but he's, you know, he woke up Will Levis and stuff like that, and Tajay Spears is set up to be a good future running back.
I can already say I was wrong about the Tennessee Titans this year. I thought they were going to be in the running for the AFC South. I thought they had a chance to win. I thought they had a chance to get maybe like 10 wins, 11 wins maybe. But they ended up not. They ended up being one of the worst teams. Well, not really worse. They're weird. The Titans are a really weird team, man. But they didn't do good.
I wish they would have, you know,
Firing
not
Vrabel was kind of stupid, but I'm happy for Vrabel. He's finally out of purgatory.
Wish that they would have started Levis in the beginning of the year instead of Tannehill. I wish they would have just traded Tannehill. But I get why they didn't. I mean,
ain't nobody gonna trade for Tannehill. I'd just release him.
all year I had heard about, you know, Tannehill to the Falcons, but that's a silly move anyway. It wouldn't have made much difference. At number 24, we've got the Vikings. You know, they're quite unfortunate this year. They were riddled with injuries, and their future is a little questionable. But
yeah, whether they move on to stay with Kirk Cousins or potentially move on, get a quarterback in the draft, maybe sign another one, trade for another one, who knows?
I think they would only move on if they had to, and I think Kirk doesn't really want to. I think he'd rather stay in Minnesota for as long as he can and just get a bag. I think they'll give him one. Yeah, I think they'll give him one. Not for like too many years, but for like 2 more maybe.
I'd maybe like to see my guy J.J. McCarthy go there, just so he already has some weapons in T.J. Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson.
That would be cool. J.J. to J.J. and T.J. and stuff. And number 23, we have the Falcons. You know, they just fired Arthur Smith, thank God, but. You know, their offense is set up great, and they just got Jesse Bates, which was such a great move.
That was a great addition. I knew whoever was going to pick up Jesse Bates would be amazing addition. I had a feeling, man. I just had a feeling the Bengals weren't going to pay him. And look at how the
never
Bengals
had a year like that.
Look at how the Bengals defense has like completely like kind of collapsed this year too.
I liked him alongside Von Bell on the Bengals, and you know. He didn't do much on the Panthers this year, as far as I know. So Jesse Bates really is standing out. I thought they were about the same on the Bengals whenever I watched them, just because you're not really supposed to see them, and he wasn't getting as many interceptions as he is now. So
I've always thought
good on him. He's a big playmaker.
Oh yeah, I've always thought Jesse Bates was one of the most underappreciated players in the league.
It just sucks that their coach sucks.
Love Atlanta.
Yeah.
Go Braves.
Well, their record, unfortunately, didn't indicate how great they were, and that's why they're at number 23 on the list. But just above them is the Raiders at number 22. They have players, and their record was better than other teams with similar talent. Like the Vikings were arguably as injured as the Raiders were, or they were arguably as worse off, but they did way better than the Vikings.
They also arguably they could have and probably should have made the playoffs just as if Josh McDaniels wasn't their quarterback, not their quarterback, I'm stupid, head coach. If he just wasn't their head coach, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because, they started off horrible to start the year off. And then when Antonio Pierce came in after that firing, then the players just got a big fire in and they started playing. That defense started playing, too. That defense is crazy. I'm excited to see that defense next year.
Yeah, I hope Tyree Wilson wakes up a little bit. It's unfortunate what has been happening with him now. Max Crosby is quite a player. I don't know how he's not Aaron Donald's been waking up Kobe Turner, so I would expect the same for Max Crosby to Tyree Wilson, but maybe it's not that easy. I don't know. Next up on the list, we've got the Bears at number 21.
The
They're set
Bears.
up perfectly, but
Who
it's
knows?
just
They're the
like
Bears.
it's a question of do you have faith in them? Yeah, that's why they're so low compared to like how much they won and how good their future looks. It's just like the coaching is questionable. What are they going to do with their pick? They could get Marvin and keep Fields,
they got
but
rid
it's
of
like
uh they got rid of
they're going to
their
work.
offensive coordinator too. Just go ahead and have Justin Fields learn like his sixth new offensive system in his third year.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could trade Fields to Atlanta, and then if maybe Atlanta could get like what's the OC on the Lions? Ben Johnson, I think they could get him, and maybe they could drum up some offense. That would be crazy, but
I
I don't
would.
think they should keep Fields. But I hope they do because I don't like the Bears and I want them to stay mediocre.
I feel that.
Do you have any more opinions on the Bears?
Fuck the Bears. It's the only opinion I got.
Okay, number 19, we have Bengals. I don't like the Bengals, but they have Joe Burrow. They're set up in the future as long as he can stay healthy, but they just cannot seem to build a line that'll work. Like
Yeah, they really have problems with that offensive
it's
line.
been like it's been like 3 years.
I really thought they were gonna like step it up when they signed our old guy who we just got back, Lel Collins. But I
Yeah,
mean,
and Orlando Brown has been bad.
I'm not surprised though. Lel Collins' like career has been filled with injury. Even though he's a physical specimen, I can imagine how much injuries just take a toll on your body. That's obviously why he isn't starting for us. Because he's a physical
Yeah,
beast. And not to mention, the Bengals' defense took a big step down, too.
and
If
they're gonna lose T probably.
Yeah, man, if the Bengals' defense played how they did the last 2 years, they'd probably be in a playoff spot right now, even without Joe Burrow.
Oh, and I since the Bengals Super Bowl with my Rams, I told Caleb as long as the Bengals and the Rams have the same record this year or something like that, or we have more, I'll be happy. And then we're only one more that win than them, and we're in the playoffs, and they're not. It's crazy.
AFC
But
was a little tighter, but y'all were the better team.
the injuries and not making the playoffs is what got them there at number 19. But just above them at number 18 is very similar, missing the playoffs, but barely, and with mediocre play, the Seahawks. You know,
Seahawks.
they just let go of Pete or whatever. He's going to stay as an advisor, and Gino is still their quarterback as far as we know right now. So that's
How's that gonna work?
Gino's a cool guy, but
How's that gonna work without Pete? I want to know.
yeah, he's their mojo guy. He makes everything work, even though he's supposed to be a defensive guy. Like, who else do you really say? Well, no, because what was that guy? He's on the Bucks with Baker, the guy that made Gino good last year, supposedly. I think it was a quarterback coach or something. I can't remember. I don't know his name.
I mean, Gino wasn't that bad this year, though.
No, he
Gino,
was worse though.
he was. I've just said Gino's just been Gino.
All right.
I don't think you could do much with Gino.
Yeah, but I mean, they have a nice future there. They should probably trade Lockett while he's still worth something because they haven't been using him as well as this year as last year's
I mean,
or
I love
previous
Tyler
years.
Lockett. I love that guy. I hope they trade
Yeah,
him
he's a
somewhere
cool
we
guy.
can win.
Maybe he'll go to number 17, the Jaguars.
Maybe.
They could use somebody new because as far as Calvin Ridley is concerned, he's not the move for me. It sucks for them. Calvin is just like he took a lot of time off, and then his timing's off. He's dropping balls. Maybe it's Trevor's fault too, but I think Trevor's he could make a leap with somebody elite.
Yeah, I think so too. That, and not to mention Trevor Lawrence just coming into the league's had a bunch of hype around him. Like since the very beginning, he's supposed to be the next great quarterback. He's supposed to be amazing, like almost GOAT caliber from what I heard coming in. He was such a hyped up prospect, so I can only imagine what that just does to you in your mind.
I mean, Yeah, I can only imagine what Urban Meyer does to your mind for your
Oh yeah,
starting.
I can only imagine what he does to your mind too.
It's crazy. Unfortunate for Trevor. He was banged up this year, but hopefully next year he'll come back and they'll have some more pieces for him. Maybe a better line, also. But at number 16 we have the Saints. I wanted them a little bit higher up on this list because I think they were playing better towards the end of the year. The Derek Carr move was pretty mediocre as far as like their success is concerned, but
That's why they're
it
right
worked.
dead in the middle. Derek Carr.
If only the Panthers had mustered up 10 freaking points in the last game of the year, they would be in the playoffs right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it sucks. The Panthers actually would have won that game, and the Saints would have been in the playoffs right now if the Panthers didn't hold on this one big running play. This DJ Chark didn't get the ball knocked out of his hand by Antoine Winfield at the last second at the goal, and then Eddie Pinheiro was worth any sort of amount of money, and he made a field goal.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, all of those things they would have scored.
That
I'm
is
pretty
a
sure.
game that I did not tune into.
I'm a big red zone guy. You got to watch red zone. That's how you get a little bit of all the games that matter.
I'm
Every part that matters.
You know me, man. I got the fucking 8 screens up all the time on YouTube TV. On the Sunday
Man,
ticket, I just got 8 screens. Well, it used to be 8 screens with the Direct TV. Now it's 4 screens, but still.
I'm a big compilations guy. But up next we have the Steelers. They got up there because they made the playoffs, but they're questionable. They've gone through 3 quarterbacks, and it's like, where they're playing the Bills. Their wins were suspect. They shouldn't have beat us because they spotted the ball wrong.
Their defense is all but holding them together. Their offense can't figure out anything.
Yeah, I mean, and TJ Watt's hurt. That sucks.
Yeah, poor them.
But good year for them. I mean, Tomlin being over 500 and making the playoffs is a good year for them. It's just like
Shout out 757.
they're stuck at mid. Mike Tomlin. I get. Well, that's not Hampton, is it?
Yeah, he's from Hampton 757.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Any more thoughts on the Steelers? I know you love them.
Steelers, I hate the Steelers, but I think they have a real shot to beat the Bills.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I think that game will be closer than people think it is.
Their running game is pretty good now. I like it with the dual back system, Najee and Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
And Von Miller hasn't been doing much on the Bills, so they don't really have a superstar on their line.
Yeah, even though the Steelers are missing T.J. Watt, man, they still have defense on defense on defense, and they got Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Oh yeah. And up next we have the Colts. Just barely didn't make the playoffs. It's unfortunate. I was really liking their year, and I wanted them to make it for personal reasons.
I'm a big Gardner Minshew guy, so I completely understand that.
And I mean the Gardner Minshew, he could have threw that ball a little bit better, but the third string running back in on that play was a bit weird. Like Zach Moss is on the team, put him out there if you're gonna be doing some, it's not Jonathan Taylor type stuff.
So you're calling the coach there Arthur Smith.
Shane Steichen, I appreciate Shane Steichen. I like him a lot, but that was a weird way to end your season, and you can be criticized for it. Honestly, you got to clutch up,
the last
buddy.
2 years against the Niners.
You got to clutch up, buddy. Yeah, well, I mean, the Niners. Yeah, I don't know what those plays were though. The QB draw and then the weird Zeke
I don't know.
center thing. Okay, that was weird. And let's see who we got. Colts and Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are an interesting team. They're 9-8 or 8-9. No, they're 9-8.
They're 9-8.
Yeah, they're 9-8. And it just sucks. They're so inconsistent. I wish Baker could hit Mike Evans just like you and your sports betting. Wish he could hit Mike Evans every time consistently, but
yeah, man.
he doesn't.
A good week of betting, and then one of my bets don't go through, and it's the Mike Evans one. Baker really don't like throwing to Mike Evans when I need him to.
Yeah, it's good to see that that roster is still being used great and that Baker still got it and all. But he's not the comeback player of the year in my opinion. But we'll get there eventually.
You know what?
You know,
I used to
once we
think
wrap
he
up our power
was,
rankings.
but I actually more on that later. But I actually agree with you now. I don't think he's the comeback player anymore.
And good because at number 12 we got the Packers. Maybe Aaron Jones can be a comeback player or something. Because he's always hurt. That's
They started off,
they're
man. The Packers started off looking like they weren't really gonna make it. I mean, they kind of started and ended off the season like mid, but ending off the season, they had a couple more like better performances as a team and all that.
yeah.
They
I'm
just
liking Jordan Love. Jordan Love is legit.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's developing at a really good rate. I think him sitting behind Aaron for 4 years really helped. And I think that teams need to bring that back in the NFL. Like, that used to be the norm, having your franchise quarterback sit for a few years rather than just throwing them straight out in the fire. I think that works more often than it does not, and I think teams should do that more often for their younger quarterbacks instead of just
Yeah, but
killing them over and over again.
yeah, but you got to pay him sooner. Like less play, and then now you got to pay Jordan Love in like a year or so.
That's fair.
But like that's just their thought. Unfortunately, it's not baseball or anything like that.
That's true.
Um, they don't know they have a salary cap. But next up we have the Texans. I you know they've been impressive.
They have been very impressive. CJ Stroud's
They
been very impressive. He has shut me up completely. I'm, of course, a Michigan fan, so I always talk about how Ohio State quarterbacks don't pan out. Like, oh, that's Ohio State quarterback, man. Justin Fields, get out of here. He's going to be a bust. Justin Fields isn't a bust, by the way, but he certainly isn't as good as people thought he was. But I'm not going to put the full blame on him. But let's just say I was wrong about CJ Stroud, man. He's the real deal. He's legit. He's turned me into a fan. I love watching CJ Stroud. Fun to watch. I love watching him throw to my guy Nico Collins. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciated seeing a rookie quarterback really pop off like that. I've been stuck watching Kenny Pickett for a year, and then Trevor Lawrence having like mid play and Justin Fields mid play, Zach Wilson really mid play.
Zach Wilson worse than mid, man.
I mean, I like him. I believe in his skill set. I would hope they trade him somewhere that he can develop a little or something. But with the Texans, let me think. Anything else? I mean, I'm liking their defense. I'm liking D'Amico Ryans.
Oh yeah,
Tank Dell, it really sucks he got hurt. That he could really use him right now.
it could. I think the Browns' defense is gonna shut them down, but we'll talk more about that later.
And before we move on to the next team, I do want to say that Damian Pierce is a bust. Devin Singletary took his damn job. That's crazy.
Who knows?
And
Next year he's gonna take it back.
next up, we got my Rams. We have exceeded everyone's expectations. Unless you had us reaching our ceiling, everyone thought it would be 9-8. Turning out it's 10-7, right? I think we're 10-7, right?
Yeah, y'all
Yeah,
are.
10-7. We beat the Niners.
I even said y'all's ceiling would be like 9-8. I think.
Yeah, well, that's all anybody could say. Like I did not hear preseason anything higher than 9-8, but now here we are, 10-7 in the playoffs. We're about to play the Lions. The Lions are. I don't like that storyline for either of us really. We kind of have the bad karma in there. We ditched Goff. Jeff Stafford wanted out of Detroit, so it's like the mojo's on their side.
Yeah, that's
And
more of their revenge
I don't like
game.
that. Yeah, I feel like Amon Ra is about to be the factor in our game that matters. But
It could be, but I really think Jamison Williams is going to get more targets that game.
Ari, that's an interesting prediction. I'm sure you're betting on it.
Yeah,
But
that's why I think so. Go Jamison Williams.
Puka Nacua and Kobe Turner and Byron Young and Kyron Williams. We've had 4 breakout players this year that have been insane, and they all deserve their flowers for it. Puka Nacua best rookie receiver ever.
I
We can
have to
fight
agree.
about it. I don't care.
No, I agree. I mean, you could argue Randy Moss just because of his 18 touchdowns, but I'll say Puka, man.
Yeah, that's the only thing. We're unfortunately the Rams are terrible in the red zone, so that was not ever going to happen unless Puka hit him from like 60-yard bombs each time. But after the Rams, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to be playing. We didn't even like really acknowledge. We did acknowledge the Texans were playing the Browns,
Yeah, I did.
but we'll get back to the Bucks and the Eagles games, I guess, because we can keep going up the list. But the Chiefs are playing the Dolphins. There's the Tyreek Hill revenge game. Ooh, they've been mid without him this year. Not as much last year, but this year they've been worse.
Their offense has been mid. Their defense has been really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Nick Bolton and Willie Gay. They're
Shit.
two good players I like on their defense. And George Karlaftis. I'm a big George Karlaftis guy.
I like Karloftis too. Shout out to the Chiefs, man. Like, actually, even though I hate the Chiefs, I don't like seeing them win. I don't really like Patrick Mahomes. I don't really like Travis Kelce. The only player I really like is Andy Reid. But, like, I gotta give them credit because when I started watching them from, like, Mahomes' first season, like, even before when they had Alex Smith, their defense was not really all that, man. They were just all offense. And now they've completely flipped the script. Their defense is nuts. Their defense is underrated, honestly. They're a pretty good defense.
I think a Panthers player slipped and fell in the rain that's happening or something. Like there's a big whole bunch of ambulances. But let's see. The Chiefs, I don't have any other opinions on the Chiefs except I like Isaiah Pacheco and Kadarius Toney is hilarious. Love that guy. There's this funny Instagram page I love, and it's like Kadarius Toney Enjoyer, whatever, 18 or whatever his number is.
19.
19. Yeah, and he's hilarious. I always see him on every NFL post like Kadarius Toney is getting MVP.
Hold up. No,
Kadarius
it's
Toney
Kadarius
was
Toney
touchdown.
Worshipper.
Oh, yeah, that guy's hilarious.
Shout out
Anyway,
Kadarius Toney Worshipper.
when we finish worshiping Kadarius, we get on to the Dolphins, who are going to be. I mean, I would like to say they're going to steamroll the Chiefs, but there's not really that momentum anymore, is there? They felt like that at the beginning of the year. They were the greatest show on turf again, and then they weren't.
I've had this opinion for a little bit now, and so far, well, actually, I don't know. I could be wrong about the Dolphins, but I was right about the Bills taking over the AFC East again, and the Dolphins were just gonna choke it away. I think the Dolphins are kind of like they were the last 2 years. They're kind of frauds, honestly, to me. Like I don't think they're gonna make any deep playoff run for real. I just don't see them doing it. I see them losing before the AFC Championship game happens. Like
And
honestly,
it sucks.
just
Cool
as a
team.
little fucking early prediction, I think the Dolphins are gonna lose to the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the Chiefs, playoff Mahomes. I do agree in that, but the Dolphins. The only other thing I'll say about the Dolphins is that Devon Achane, or however you say it, is
A-Chain?
a really fun player to watch. He's changed how you say it a few times apparently. Like
Oh,
it started
really?
A-Chain and then they said Achan or something.
Yeah, the Dolphins are explosive, and they do have that factor that could win them, like the game. I just don't see them making it past the Chiefs or in the playoffs, though. Honestly, sadly.
Yeah, I don't think Tua's that. I don't know if he's that playoff quarterback or not. They didn't have him last year, but maybe it was Skylar Thompson mojo last year.
They almost beat the Bills. That's
Only
crazy.
other thing I'll say is good job, Jalen Ramsey. Happy that he's been bouncing back as a Dolphin for the most part. He's not been getting burnt as much as he was last year as a Ram.
That's good for him.
And
It
then
sucks
next,
he's their only defender that's healthy now.
it does because he's probably not that healthy. But after them, we have the Eagles, who number 7 for the Eagles is pretty high up for a lot of people's list probably. But starting off the year how they did 10-1, that showed that this year they did have that magic still. They had the capability, and then it started fumbling towards the end, and
Yeah, they
There's still
started
that
to lose
chance
their
to get that
momentum.
back.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they
there's
can get
always
it
this
back in
chance.
the playoffs, especially against the Buccaneers. I think they could make a deep playoff run, even potentially beat my Cowboys. But then again, I'm not like
Oof.
those like horrible Cowboys fans who say we're going to the like Super Bowl every single year. Well, I do at the beginning of the season before it starts, and then I come back down to earth pretty quickly within the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Eagles, I don't know. Jalen Hurts, last year he was like this elevating player, like he was the Eagles. This year it seems more like he's sort of settling back in the offense, it seems, and like trying to be something he's not. He's not running as much as I saw last year. I'd love to look at his rushing stats, but I don't think he was even doing as well as he did last year. He certainly there's Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift, they did about the same.
Of course, I bet learning a new system and everything probably is what's hurting him a little bit this season, why he's had a little bit of a slump, why he's had more turnovers too, and why the Eagles offense just hasn't been clicking as well as they have been, or just the team in general, honestly. I do think it is because they did hire 2 new coordinators, and I think it's impressive that they looked as good as they did for as long as they did, like throughout the season, and they still look decent.
Yeah, the double coordinator switch thing really sucks. Let's just hope Jason Kelsey and Julio Jones can get a ring this year. Maybe if that's what happens, that's all I'm excited for. If they do get one,
I
just
hope
those
it
two
don't
really.
hope it don't happen just because I don't like the Eagles, but there's
But
always that
Julio
possibility.
Jones, but Julio. Anyway,
I'm a Larry Fitzgerald guy.
that's fair. Next up, we have the Browns. They're they've exceeded everything that they were supposed to, given like the injuries and just like all the adversity they faced with this Deshaun Watson thing. It's not. It's surprising. That's so. We really want to put them up high at number 6 to show like the amount of winning in the game they've got is it's impressive.
How well their coaching is, just how deep of a team that is, just for all those players to step up after having multiple injuries throughout the season, especially to one of your best players in Nick Chubb. Like, and that defense is most definitely the most standout part about that team. But still, their offense isn't nothing to laugh at either. Their offense
If they
still
get
produces with Joe Flacco.
if they win the Super Bowl, I just want to see Miles Garrett get the ring. That's mostly who I care about. And Nick Chubb, I guess, but he didn't. Nick Chubb getting it. It'll be like Robert Woods getting it with us. He was
Yeah,
hurt.
like kind of when Acuna got it with the Braves, because for any baseball people, I'm a Braves fan. He was hurt like all the way at the beginning of the season, like middle of the season, I think, or end.
Coming into the top 5, we have the Buffalo Bills. They're pretty high up for most people's lists, and also given their record and given like their injuries and how they've been inconsistent, it's just like that. For us, it's that belief of elevating enough to where you need to. Like they clutched up when they had to at the end of the year in the games that mattered. They still got it done barely, but they did,
And
and
they
they
won
have Josh
their
Allen.
division.
Yeah, that's important. They're going to have a home game every game unless they play Baltimore.
The Bills are still the Bills, and they can definitely make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, and who they play Steelers, and then who would be the next lowest seed in the AFC?
In the AFC, so
Probably
seven
the
is Steelers.
Texans.
Number 4 is
No, they won their division.
number 5 is Browns. Number 6, who is the 6 is the Dolphins.
So I mean, the Bills could have a really crazy playoff run.
They could have that rematch against the Dolphins in the divisional round.
And I'm not a big fan of Josh Allen most of the time. I think he plays stupid. Maybe a little bit more last year than this year. I feel like hurting his body wise, like running into people, being obnoxious. But he didn't do it as much this year. And then I've also seen a bunch of nice mic'd up moments with him. So yeah, he's growing on me a little bit. But Diggs is falling off as well. All right, number 4, we got the Lions. They will be playing my Rams. They're pretty good. They got Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm a big fan of him. They're pretty explosive offense. only two things I feel like are holding them back this game is the injury to Sam Laporta. That's really sucks. They probably shouldn't have played him. And Jared Goff. You know, you can only go so far with Goff, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. Who knows?
I
Maybe
think we could
Goff
win
proves
that.
us wrong though.
I hope not. I want to win. I want to win the Super Bowl again.
I feel that.
You know, I mean, we could do it. Like, we'd have to play. Maybe we, at least y'all, I guess. I don't know. It'd be tough. Unless we could get the Bucks or something.
Yeah, I think the Bucks could beat us. Wait, we're not playing the Bucks. I'm stupid. We're playing the Packers. I still think the Packers could beat us.
And coming up to beating, the Packers beating the Cowboys at number 3, the Cowboys. You know,
Hey.
they're a pretty great team. You know, Micah Parsons is definitely a game-changing player. Definitely like a generational defensive player to have. So it's always a threat, but the inconsistency is still there. That might be a
He's
remnant of
been
Mike McCarthy.
he's been a little annoying this year, Micah Parsons, like as in talking shit to people, talking shit after the games, all that stuff, man. Like he's been a little obnoxious, but I kind of like it. I'm embracing it a little bit. He's cool.
the only
And people,
the only
if you
thing
got
is,
a problem, if you got a problem with us being higher than the Lions or the Bills on this list, I just got one thing to say. Those were I gotta bring out the Cowboys fan in me right now, the obnoxious Cowboys fan. Those two
mhm.
teams, they aren't as good as our team. We played bad games and they played their best games. Both of those games. If we play our best game and they play their best game, we beat them by 20. I bet both of them. Also,
Yeah, I
Dan
mean,
Campbell, you're stupid for going for 2. I don't care. I don't feel any sympathy for you. You should have went for 1, like the smart move, and went to overtime.
man, it was a cool play. But you're this year for the Cowboys has been quite impressive. Like,
I know.
but the
We
inconsistency
actually
is so annoying.
we actually ended the season off on a good note.
Yeah, and CeeDee Lamb is having a historical receiver year. You know,
Best
Dak
season
has
in
been
Cowboys
like
receiving
second in
history.
MVP. I'd say Dak would be the second in MVP voting. You know, and then CeeDee Lamb would be offensive player of the year, almost. You know, he's like up there, top
Yeah,
3 votes.
If Tyreek Hill and CMC didn't exist.
The run game has been mediocre, but y'all have definitely bounced back from your injuries. That's one thing about the Cowboys. Last year, I thought y'all were going to be done in your preseason run because Dak got hurt, but then y'all went crazy with his name is slipping my mind right now.
Cooper
What is it,
Rush.
Caleb?
That was
Cooper Rush. That guy.
that was a couple of years ago. I remember that.
That was last year,
Wait,
and
that
then
was
this year
last
y'all were
year?
big. Yeah, that was
Dang.
last year.
Time flies, man. Wow.
Yeah, when you're same year every year as a Cowboys fan, it's like a bad dream.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just lose track.
Been dealing with
But
the same thing for 20 years.
but then y'all lost Diggs, and I was like, oh man, their secondary's cooked. And then here comes Deron Bland and Stephon Gilmore. You know,
Well, I knew Deron Bland could step up just because I, of course, watch my team and I know my guys, my depth guys, like Deron Bland. But I didn't know he'd be nowhere near as good as he is, though. This is crazy. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm
very
happy for
proud of the team
Bland
this year.
breaking that record. That was pretty cool.
I am very proud of the Cowboys this year, even though I have little to no faith of us making it past the divisional round this year, just like I do every year at this point. Until y'all prove me wrong, Cowboys, I'm going to say the same thing about y'all. We're going to lose in the playoffs.
The only thing I can root for y'all is that you finally get Brandon Cooks a ring, because hasn't he lost 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah, and he got knocked out in the first one.
Yeah, so hopefully if y'all win the Super Bowl, that will be my highlight of it. You know, go
Dude,
Brandon Cooks.
watching him get knocked out live was kind of crazy, dude.
And so hopefully hopefully the team that gets knocked out will be at number 2, the 49ers.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sick of them. Hopefully the lowest seed, us or the Packers, knock them out at some point.
That'd be
I don't like
awesome.
them. Fraudulent Brock Purdy. He just throws it to CMC. He throws behind the line of scrimmage more than he throws past the sticks. It's every time I see him, he's annoying to watch. If it's not to George Kittle, who's like 6 foot whatever, he's huge.
I think it would be the sweetest thing ever if we replayed them in the playoffs and we somehow beat them after they smoked us this year. Like, if we
I would
beat
love
them
that too.
that would be amazing, man. because they've beaten us the last 3 times we played them in a row. The last 2 years in playoffs, they've killed our season. So even if we can't win the bowl, man, if we can kill their season and upset them in whatever round that may be, I think the latest round we could even play in is the NFC Championship game. I don't know if we make it that far, but if we do, we better at least beat them.
All right, and then the Niners. All I can say about them is they're good players. Ooh, good job. Get past the NFC Championship game. And then obviously at number 1 we have the Baltimore Ravens. Go Lamar, go! Like he's just been game managing, playmaking his way efficiently throughout the year, and it's been fun to watch.
That has been fun to watch. He's been very fun. The Ravens have been fun as a whole to watch. That defense stepping it up.
Oh yeah, Roquan and Kyle Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
They've been pretty awesome. Marlon Humphrey's had a down year, but he's still good.
Yeah, usually
it sucks they just don't have a real running back, man. Like Gus Edwards works, and Justice Hill and all these guys that they have so much depth and all that, and it works in their system. It's just like imagine the Ravens, they got them a CMC. Like if the Ravens had traded for Saquon Barkley, like come on, they would have been surefire 100% Super Bowl this year. Now it's just like
Dalvin Cook now.
Oh, they have Dalvin Cook. Never mind. Sorry. The savior is here. We have Dalvin Cook, and Mark Andrews maybe comes back from with one ankle. That's another thing. But with that, Ravens at number 1, Panthers at 32. We went through our list bottom to top rankings, the Shenanigans power rankings. I'm glad y'all sat through that for about 45 minutes. We've got a little bit left for you guys. Quick new segment alert. This will be the first repeating segment, hopefully. We've got Caleb's Corner coming up. This is a brand new segment, and I have no idea what he's going to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's Caleb.
All right.
That was his drum roll.
Hey, welcome everyone to Caleb's Corner. I got a couple of things that I personally want to talk about, just because I know Jordan doesn't really keep up with college ball all that much, or doesn't really enjoy it. And then I got like a couple of things to say about baseball, and I do sports betting on Prize Picks, because of course I'm under 21. That's the only thing you can even do under 21. But if y'all are into Prize Picks, I'll give y'all some of my picks. I've won 16 entries and $345 so far in the span of 2 weeks. So my picks are big ballin'. But first, of course, got to reiterate my guys, my Michigan Wolverines, national champions, 15-0, undefeated, a defense never seen like that before, holding all 15 opponents to under 25 points. Hasn't been done since 1903, and the last team that did that played high school teams. So we are legit. And then
Caleb's got stats.
Of course I do. Then people keep on saying Harbaugh's leaving. He's got his agent to the NFL, and I do think Harbaugh may end up leaving Ann Arbor sooner than later. But when I mean sooner than later, I don't mean this season. I mean next season. Look at it, man. We gave him a 10-year extension to be the highest paid NCAA head coach. He would be making $12.5 million a year on salary. And in that contract, there's a no NFL clause. And it's only 1 year no NFL clause. He could sign that contract, take his $12.5 million, and then if he so wants to after that 1 year, he can negotiate with the NFL and go there after making a free $12 million we already offered him. You know what I mean? Or if he wants to stay, then he can stay. And I've heard some reports from Michigan insiders, people close to Harbaugh, and Sports Illustrated that Harbaugh might actually stay at Ann Arbor and stay at the University of Michigan and maybe try to start a dynasty there. That would be awesome. I would love that. But I'm not going to lie, I am kind of interested to see what Harbaugh back in the NFL would look like, because that is my guy, and he is more than just a college coach. He is a great coach. He can coach at multiple different levels. But I really, as a Michigan fan, I hope he stays, and I hope those news articles I seen about him staying are true. Just moving on quickly here through my corner, we got Alabama coaching candidates. Dan Lanning said no. He will be staying with the Oregon Ducks and building with them, building something new there, which I am happy. However, what I'm not happy to hear is that just 40 minutes ago, Kalen DeBeor, Washington's head coach, who we just beat in the national championship, is expected to be Alabama's new head coach. I don't like that. I really want him to keep building with Washington, man. Like, I know they have come on, man, Lane Kiffin. I mean, I don't want Lane Kiffin to go to Bama either. I kind of want him to start his own thing at Ole Miss, like how he's been doing. But like, man, I really just don't want Kalen DeBoer to go to Bama. Like, I really like what he was building with Washington. It was nice seeing what Washington did and what he was building there. Like, it was just fun, man. Like, seeing a new team. I'm tired of Alabama. So,
Man, college ball
it
is
sucks. But
something else.
there could be some other candidates going to Bama, too. It's not 100% Kalen DeBoer. It could, come down to, what's his name? Steve Sarkisian, Texas's head coach, apparently. Lane Kiffin, of course, is in that little realm right there. But so far, I think it is between those three.
Man, what did you have to say about that Yankee signing? You were talking to me about that earlier.
Oh, yeah. Juan Soto. They signed Juan Soto. That's crazy. The Yankees do this all the time. They're kind of like the Dodgers, in where they just dump off all their money to sign big players. But Juan Soto is a generational talent. He's a great young player. That's crazy. Him and Aaron Judge, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Giancarlo Stanton can put it on every so now and again, every once in a while. Yankees
I love baseball,
looking promising.
I don't know nothing about baseball, but I say I'm a Yankees fan because of my granddad. So I'm like a Cowboys baseball fan, kind of. Not even fan, but supporter.
Shohei Ohtani, of course, as everyone knows, signed with the Dodgers about a month ago. Shout out the Dodgers. I really thought my Braves were going to get him, man. That sucks. It kind of hurts, but I think he's only DH this year. He can't play pitcher this year because he got hurt as pitcher. So thankfully he won't be pitching this year. Actually, that's kind of messed up. I didn't mean it in that way. It's just that he's such a great player. I've really taken off one aspect of him and going against him. That's going to help a lot. But, of course, the Dodgers just reloading, bringing back in what looks to be another team that's supposed to be a super team dynasty for like the 10th year in a row. Congratulations, Dodgers. Then the last thing I really got to say about the MLB right now is that my Braves, we signed Chris Sale, pitcher from Boston Red Sox. As much as I've seen Braves fans not enjoy that move, we need pitching really bad. So I'm really, really, really glad we got Chris Sale. Chris Sale, lock in, buddy. I just wanted to talk about the new college conferences coming up real quick in NCAA football. I'll probably talk about basketball more next week. I haven't really been keeping up with NCAA basketball as much, but I should. But it's kind of hard to when Wolverines suck. Fire Juwan Howard. But
College ball seems hard to develop people. It's so weird. You just have players for about 4 or 5 years instead of these proven players on contracts. I like the pro level stuff. When you talk about these college ball, it's the development's so much different.
It
with
is.
Players and coaching.
I could feel that. It is a lot harder. Tell who's gonna be good. Someone could be a 5-star and just end up sucking ass. I mean, someone could be the first overall pick and end up sucking ass in the NFL too, but I feel like it's way more likely for a 5-star to suck than a first overall pick to suck. But yeah, new conferences in NCAA football next year. Texas joining the SEC along with Oklahoma. That's gonna be interesting. And then, of of course, Washington, Oregon, UCLA. I believe I'm missing one. But those 3 plus 1 I'm missing is going to the Big Ten next year. It's going to make everyone calling Big Ten schedules a cupcake schedule. No, we're no longer a cupcake schedule. What do y'all have to say about that shit now, huh? Like, now we got to play Oregon and Washington and UCLA. Thank you. Thank you very much. But anyways, getting into that last part of Caleb's Corner today, we're just going to be talking about some sports bets I have for this
There
weekend.
That's my favorite.
Yup.
All his bets.
We got I got 2 picks right now. It's a $10 power play on Prize Picks. 2 picks to pay $50. I picked Brandon Cooks for over 0.5 receiving and rushing touchdowns. All he has to do is get 1. Then I bet on CJ Stroud to have more than 1.5 touchdown, which means all he has to do is throw 2 passing touchdowns, which might be hard against Cleveland's secondary, but I think he can get it done. And I have another pick here, which is another power play, a $5 power play, 4 picks, which will pay out $50. I got Jerome Ford doing more than 18 rushing yards in his first 5 attempts. Aiden Hutchinson getting more than 0.25 sacks, so he doesn't even have to get the full sack. He just has to be credited with a half a sack to get that bet. Joe Flacco, less than 275 passing yards. I don't think he's going to go on that monster run again. I know all of his games have been 300 yards so far on the Browns, but I don't think he's going to surpass 275. I'm sorry. And then Jamison Williams, more than 38 receiving yards. And then let me see. I just got
betting money, gambling, all great things. Love this.
Amazing. And I just got, let's see here. I got 2 more bets here. A 3-man pick for $25. I bet $5 on it. Cade Otton, Tampa Bay's tight end, more than 25 receiving yards. Jalen Hurts, more than 237 passing yards. Jerome Ford, more than 43 and a half rushing yards. And then my last play, which I think is a good one. I bet $15 on this for 3 picks with a $34 payout. CJ Stroud is going to throw less than 256 passing yards. Amari Cooper will pick up more than 69 and a half receiving yards. And then Dallas's kicker, Brandon Aubrey, more than 1.5 field goals made. So 2 field goals made. Those are my picks for sports betting this week in the NFL for anyone who wants to tag along and follow. And that was the end of Caleb's Corner, the inaugural first little session of Caleb's Corner.
That was great. I love hearing your bets. You get real passionate about your bets during the week, and it's really funny. I like to see you get mad at Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen or somebody when they're not doing what you want. But
it is because I do even though I win a lot of bets, I lose some too. Even though I've been profiting, it still pisses me off when someone fucks up my bet, man. Because I could have won 500 something bucks, and then there he goes, fucking Mike Evans just catching half of the yards that I need.
Okay. Yeah. So before we move on to our next topic, I did want to mention one quick thing. Connor Bedard of the Blackhawks. He's a young man, 18 years old, first overall pick to the Blackhawks, supposed to be this generational game-changing player. He has been, and he's quite fun to watch. I've not been really into hockey, but I have his jersey, and I've been watching him play recently. And then just the other day, he's playing a game and he gets checked in his mouth, and his jaw's broken. So right now he's on injury reserve indefinitely. And just prayers up to Connor. Hopefully he comes back from this fine. He's a crazy player to watch play. But I just wanted to get that out there. Prayers up for Connor Bedard, or however you say it.
Yeah, prayers up to him because I'm the reason that happened because I bet on him to score a goal that game.
Yep. Damn you. Vegas saw it and was like, "We gotta get Connor out of there." Someone hit him in his face. So our last topic of the show this week is going to be our yearly awards debate. So we've been at it for a little bit here, so we can run through these a little bit quickly. but I wanted to start with the rookies of the year, starting on defense here. Caleb, who did you have as your defensive rookie of the year this year?
You know, I originally was gonna say Devon Witherspoon, but I'm I really am gonna have to say Will Anderson. Like actually,
I'm really going to have to agree with you there. Yeah, I think Jalen Carter's year has been quite overrated. Unfortunately, he's the betting favorite, and Devin Witherspoon, he was great in the beginning of the year, Devin Witherspoon, but I think he slowed down more as that defense started to get figured out a little bit more with him there. And then, Will Anderson has just been making plays all year, and he's kind of slowed down towards the end too. He's a little bit hurt now, but he's been blocking field goals, and he's just been doing everything an edge rusher is supposed to do with not all of the sacks there and the numbers. And it's just he's a productive guy. He's been worth that first rounder that the Texans aren't going to have this year because they traded up to get him at number 3. But I think it was definitely worth it.
and I like Jalen Carter, and he probably, well, actually, I don't know. I haven't seen the updated odds, but from the last odds I've seen, it looks like he'll probably be getting the award. And I'll agree, Jalen Carter is definitely a good player. Maybe they're giving it to him just because of how stacked that defensive line is and how good he's performing on it, but still, I'm going to have to give it to Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah, well, Jalen Carter, anything he does, Kobe Turner does it too on the Rams, but unfortunately he's not getting any attention. He's also a candidate, but he's not been quite. He has the same amount of sacks as Jalen Carter, more than Jalen Carter. He has the most, tied for the most of all the rookies. I don't remember, but he does all the same stuff. He jumps there and tries to grab the ball when they snap it and stuff, but he's not quite pushed himself over the edge in those terms. But shout out Kobe Turner. Next up for offensive rookie of the year, I'll let you go first. Who you got for this one, Caleb?
Oh, I already know we're going to have a disagreement here. I'm going with both Texans. I'm going C.J. Stroud here. I know you don't like that opinion, but I got to.
Wow. Now, with this one, I appreciate CJ. I said this, but I was being generous giving it to Will Anderson. Kobe Turner again deserves it. They can have one. They can have defensive rookie, but Puka Nacua is a record-breaking rookie receiver. You're not getting better than him. He's the rookie of the year. You goddamn gave it to Jamar Chase for breaking the yards record as a rookie, and then Puka goes around and beats that rookie record, and Jalen Waddle's one, and they're gonna be like, oh man, C.J. Stroud was really good though, even though he lost to the fucking Panthers and missed games. Like, missing games is supposed to make you drop in the odds and stuff, but guess fucking not.
I do definitely feel. I definitely get your opinion. It's definitely
I have
valid.
Puka, by the way. I didn't say that. I have Puka.
It's definitely valid. I think Puka probably could win it. I wouldn't be mad if he won it at all either. I just think what he's done, Stroud has done. He's led the Texans to the playoffs. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know if he broke the record for passer rating, but I wouldn't be surprised if he broke the rookie record for passer rating.
He broke like the most games without an interception or something. That's it. If you break records,
23-5
you get
is
like
a great ratio with the amount of games he played, and with the amount of games he missed, he still hit 4,100 yards. Damn, that's only 200 away from Andrew Luck's record.
Okay, but they lost to the Panthers.
I mean, yeah.
Led by C.J. Stroud. And, I don't care. I got Puka. I think you break 2 records. You're the best rookie receiver ever versus the almost best rookie quarterback ever because he missed a few games and lost to the Panthers. That's you just barely don't get it for me with Stroud, unfortunately. And I know people give him the quarterback fucking privilege, but I don't care. Moving on. Let's go to a little lighter-hearted one. Coach of the year. Who'd you have for that?
I really think it should be Kevin Stefanski for a second time. I know he already won it, but it's based off of who deserves the award, not off of I'm tired of this guy winning the award. And I think with all the injuries adversity that the Browns have come over and have still been an elite team in the NFL, still competing for the 1 seed all the way to the very end, looking to be a very strong playoff team, hoping to make a very deep playoff run, the league's best defense. I think Kevin Stefanski really deserves it.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a case for him there. It's just like the thing about him is he's had so much proven players and he's been there and he's done this with them before. He's been the coach of the year with them before.
That's
For
true.
me, he's had Myles Garrett. He's had these players. He's got Amari Cooper, proven talents. Joe Flacco's a veteran, but for me, the coach of the year is a rookie coach of the year, and D'Amico Ryans.
I can see
The
that too.
Texans can have that one too,
I
because he's
I wouldn't
elevated
be.
C.J. Stroud and all that. Like people with the defensive coaches don't expect it to be working out this well with a rookie quarterback like Stroud, but it has been amazing.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryans has really turned their team around. I really wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be mad if he won Coach of the Year either. I just think Kevin Stefanski deserves it a little more.
Yeah, and then mostly though, like he turned Derek Stingley around. He had a not great year last year. He was hurt as well, but and then this year he's been pretty good. Up next, let's do another lighthearted one. Let's do comeback player of the year. You can go first again.
Comeback Player of the Year. I know you want it to be your guy. Honestly, I might take your guy. I'll take Stafford. Fuck it.
There we go. Some respect. Let's go. Let's go with this respect. I like that. Stafford. Everyone's been saying Baker Mayfield. Everybody's been saying Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco
Everybody,
hasn't played long enough, in my opinion.
okay, but people forget comeback player of the year is about the year before, right? Stafford was hurt, playing terrible. People were saying trade him. People were telling him to retire. People saying he was washed. He had a back spine thing, whatever. But now he came back this year and he's been playing at almost MVP level since the bye week. I think it's been impressive, and because last year when you watched Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco, they both had amazing games, comeback performances. They both showed they still had it. Baker Mayfield with the Rams, that run was like basically what Joe Flacco was doing right now, but it wasn't a playoff team. He revived a team himself, Baker Mayfield, a little bit, and that's he's obviously still had it then. And Joe Flacco did the same thing versus the Browns last year on the Jets in like that crazy comeback. And so like you saw they still had it last year versus everyone saying Stafford was hurt and bad and all this, and they didn't expect it, and they were saying he should have been traded this year. And now he's been elite and led them to the playoffs and gave Puka the best rookie receiving season ever. That's a comeback player if I ever heard of one.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on the Matt Stafford thing. He's very underrated in the Comeback Player of the Year award. Like, Damar Hamlin is still number one in odds, and as much like
That's so dumb.
I am trying not to be disrespectful here at all. 100% not being disrespectful. I don't think Damar Hamlin deserves it just because last year he died and now he's alive. I'm sorry. Like, that's just my opinion, man. He's played like 5 or 6 games, I think, and he has 2 total tackles. He has no other recorded stat. 2 tackles, man. That's ridiculous. That's kind of just giving him the award out of sympathy, and I don't really like that. Like, it's amazing what he did. It's amazing he came back from, that heart issue, and he came back, and now he's alive and well and ready to play with the team again. But just based off of his play, he doesn't deserve a comeback player of the year because he had a better season last year. And unless they really mean comeback as in a literal sense of coming back.
From the dead.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, there's your little, there's your a little upset pick for comeback to player. I didn't actually expect you to agree with me, so that's cool. Matt Stafford, I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I think Baker's kind of, I don't know. I've said this about Baker, and I did really start thinking about Baker as comeback player of the year, and I'm like, yeah, he did like revive his career, but Baker does this all the time. Like
Exactly. He's still Baker.
whenever he has a full season, look at him. His first rookie year, good season. Second year, fucking ass. Then he has a good season, and then he's not healthy for 2 seasons, so we're not going to count those. And now his season he's healthy for again, he's good. So every other season he's healthy for, he's either good or bad. He's good or bad. That's just Baker. That's Baker.
Yeah, that's Baker. He's not coming back from being himself. He's been the same. Let's do a more obvious one. MVP. Who I got Lamar.
I got Lamar.
You could argue Dak in certain, but he wasn't as clutch as Lamar was this year.
Yeah, the clutch factor. Let me see.
The number one seed.
Whenever Lamar is, the number one seed. Whenever Lamar has played over 500 talent, he's completely demolished them. Look at what he did to the 49ers. Just his teams too in general. The 49ers, the Dolphins, the Lions. He's
basically undefeated in the fucking,
Yeah, they haven't
NFC.
They haven't just been beating these teams, like these good teams. They've been demolishing these good teams, and Lamar is definitely one of the key reasons why. Like, Lamar has really stepped it up. He's better at passing this year than he was the last few years, honestly. Like, he's gained way more skill in the passing game for sure, because his first MVP season, he did lead the league in passing touchdowns, but he definitely used his legs to open up the pass a lot more. And now I've kind of seen some plays where he's just staying back in the pocket and throwing. So his throwing ability has really gone up as a whole as well. And even though Dak does have the better passing stats, like you said, the clutch factor, the 1 seed, and like I said, they've beaten all the competition so far. The Ravens, obviously, Lamar is just a better rusher than Dak too, so I think he's close enough in passing and keeps improving in passing and is younger than Dak and is significantly better than him in rushing for him to win MVP. Like, he's just a better all-around player. He's the MVP.
Yeah. And
I can see
when we made this
I can see the case for CMC though. I can see there needs to be more candidates who are non-quarterbacks. I really want to see a non-quarterback win an MVP sometime soon. Although this year, Lamar deserves it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to see a non-quarterback one day. And since you mentioned CMC, I'll just say that he's my offensive player of the year. Most people would give it to Tyreek, but people were giving CMC MVP votes until Lamar definitely solidified himself, and everyone was like, "Okay, you can't give it to CMC. He missed the game. He's he's not been carrying his team as much, blah blah blah." But you bump him down to offensive player of the year because he is the Niners offense. As much as I hate them, that's exactly what he's been for them. He is their offense, and he's just an all around purpose running back. He's worth it. All the picks they traded for him.
Oh yeah, that was.
Who's your offensive player?
I'm gonna say CMC as well, because
there you go.
He has 1,500 rushing yards. I think he has 20 something touchdowns in total, and he has 600 receiving yards.
Yeah, Brock loves throwing to him. Who's your defensive player of the year?
My defensive player of the year? I'm still gonna say Myles Garrett, as much as I like my guy Micah Parsons.
I hope Myles gets it, but personally, I think T.J. Watt is gonna get it again, just because he's leading with sacks.
Even though he's
been having. He could be it's a regular season award, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, yeah, he's had quite the year. You could give the comeback player of the year to him too, because he had the pec last year, or whatever. Well, yeah, it was a pec tear.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, you could give it to him really, as well. That's another shout out to him for comeback player of the year as well. So, but I give it to T.J. Watt.
So yet again, another year where Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, and T.J. Watt are the 3 best defensive players.
Yeah, Myles Garrett just needs to start jumping up for interceptions, and so does Micah. Like TJ's the only one doing that out of the three.
I mean, you don't really need to when you're an edge rusher, but
It's just crazy. He's also like a linebacker. He drops in the coverage more than those other two do.
that's true. Even though Micah does every now and again because he is a linebacker.
Yeah. Uh, that's all for our yearly awards. So for NFC games, let's do that first. Cowboys Packers. Who you got?
I've got Dallas just because it's us at home, but I'm not gonna be surprised if it's a close game at all, or even if we lose. But
I
I got Dallas.
I got Packers honestly because I think Mike McCarthy like shits himself when he has to play y'all. I really do. I think he gets like mad.
I
You
can see that happening.
remember last year when y'all y'all lost in
Yep.
overtime, I think, or at the end,
Yeah.
and he was like,
We
pissed.
lose. We lose to the Packers, but I don't know if we lose to the Packers or if we lose to Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know, but I got Packers in an upset. I wouldn't be upset if I was wrong. Lions Rams. I got us with the upset, man. Unless if we can somehow contain Amon Ra for the most part, that's like at some points in the game at least to keep up with them. I think we can do it. But
I
yeah,
think
I'm gonna go Rams. Yeah, I'm gonna put it out in the universe.
I think y'all are gonna do it too. I don't think their defense steps up that day. I think Kyron Williams might have a big game. Maybe Puka or Cooper Cup have a big game. I think y'all's offense is gonna have a good game, and it'll be like a slugfest, and y'all are gonna end up winning.
That would be great. And then next up, there's Eagles Bucks. I gotta go Eagles.
I
I don't
got
think Baker's gonna clutch up.
I gotta go Eagles here too, man. I don't think so. The Bucks haven't proven to me enough that they're like that. I mean, the Eagles have had a little bad, shitty stretch, but I can't do that. I can't go against the Eagles, man. They're too
I
proven.
still I look like a terrible friend. You picked my team, and I didn't pick your team. But it's Mike McCarthy, man. I feel bad. But the Eagles,
I
yeah, I
understand.
don't
We're the
know.
Dallas Cowboys in the
Baker.
playoffs.
I think Baker's hurt. Baker is hurt, so it's like I think Jalen Carter could spear him in his ribs, and there's just gonna be a Kyle Trask game. You know, it's anything can happen. It's not great.
AFC
Uh,
games now.
the Chiefs and Dolphins. I got Chiefs.
I
I
got
don't
the
think the
Chiefs
Dolphins
too.
are gonna clutch up.
I don't think the Dolphins will clutch up. I think the Chiefs will play significantly better than they did in the playoffs than they did in the regular season. And I think they'll end up defeating the Dolphins.
Bills Steelers. I got the Steelers with an upset. I don't know why. I just think they're gonna.
I can see
It's gonna
that
be some like
happening,
Steeler
dude.
football, man. Be
I
some
can
Steeler football.
I can totally see that happening. I see the Bills winning this one. I think the Bills might make a deep playoff run this year, but I could totally see the Steelers like beating them because I think it will be a close game. But I do have the Bills just coming out on top just because they are the better team overall.
There's only one more.
One more
I
game.
can't remember.
Browns Texans.
Give me Texans.
Give me Browns. Browns defense is gonna shut down what CJ's been doing, but and
I feel like
Amari Cooper is gonna go off.
you might be right. They're just experienced, but I feel like CJ Stroud's got one wild card win in him. I just feel that for some reason.
I wish I could
But
say I could see it, but with the Browns defense and just how they're playing right now, I really don't see it. I just kind of just see the Browns just making it.
all right. And
Like
so
I think
now
it might even be a blowout.
it's very possible. And you know what? I just hope that I could root for either team really. They're both great. It sucks they have to play each other first round.
NFL script.
Yeah. Well, they forgot the starting quarterback on the Browns.
They
That would be
scripted.
the cherry on top.
That would be. They scripted a lot of games.
Deshaun
If you
Watson.
look at the matchups this year,
Oh yeah.
McCarthy versus
2021
McCarthy
playoff
versus
rematch with the
Packers.
Eagles and Bucks.
Yep. You got the McCarthy going back to Green Bay. Goff going back to the Lions, or not Lions, the Rams.
Yeah, that. Well, no, we're going to Detroit, so Stafford's going back to the Lions.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Goff.
wondering if they'll boo him. I don't think they will. I think they like Stafford too much.
I think there will be boos, but they
Maybe
won't be
mixed.
loud.
Maybe they'll boo when we come on field, but not Stafford. Like maybe Stafford will come out separate. They'll go, yeah. And then the rest of the Rams will go on. They'll be like, boo, Rams.
I just speaking of that, I seen a video today of like a bunch of Detroit natives, like they were asking a bunch of people locally in Detroit on this news station whether like about Stafford merch. They're like, nah, we can't wear Stafford merch. Like we respect him, but he ain't on our team no more. And
I hate that.
I hate that
like
too because y'all, man, y'all can't be talking like that. Like y'all kept him hostage there, and Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. Don't talk like that. He did everything he could for y'all.
their lines are truly evil.
They are, and they said there will definitely be boos in the game. Like someone said, I won't boo. I know there'll be boos, but there definitely won't be that much cheers because I'm not cheering.
They're gonna be booing if Sam LaPorta's still hurt.
There are definitely gonna be some cheers out there, but I feel like there are gonna be more boos than cheers. But the boos won't be obnoxiously loud.
Any other thoughts on any playoff matchups before we get into the shenanigan of the week?
I'm ready.
Man, I'm ready too. This is the part I've been waiting for. So now we can explain the name of the show. So Shenanigans was a term I just started using every time I would send Caleb clips of silly old college plays, just like flea flickers or silly fumbles or drop passes, interceptions, silly goofy college moments that I could be like, oh, look how stupid college ball is. And I called them shenanigans. So I'd always send it and just be like, this is shenanigans. And I realized that you could say this for all kinds of sports moments. Sports are so goofy. So we decided that to end off every episode, we will do a segment called the Weekly Shenanigan. And breaking news! Breaking news! Washington's Kalen DeBeor or whatever agrees to a deal to become the next head coach at Alabama.
Fuck!
Wow, there you go. You don't get what you want.
I really, man. Why you do that, Kalen DeBeor?
That's quite a shenanigan, isn't it?
Yeah, just leave the team you were building to go into an already established Nick Saban dynasty team. Okay, like, damn.
Breaking news right at the end. We caught that.
That's
ESPN
a great pickup for Alabama, by the way. Kalen DeBeor is a great coach. That's why I didn't want him to go there. That's why I wanted him to stay and build Washington, because I was interested in seeing Washington get built, even though they're division rivals. Or not division, conference rivals.
That was cool. I like that.
Damn.
So the shenanigan of the week is going to be a segment where we just find a goofy sports play. And I'm sorry we got sidetracked with that whole Alabama announcement. That was cool. But now without any more ado, the shenanigan of the week this year was quite a funny moment. I was watching the Eagles Giants game with my girlfriend. She's an Eagles fan. And then there's stupid play. It was just a regular old punt. And then the Eagles are punting it to the Giants. A Giants defender comes out of nowhere, and he's trying to block it. Punter gets it off, but he starts pushing the punter, and then but instead of letting the punter fall down and getting the roughing the kicker penalty, he starts holding him up by the waist, and he's just like hugging him and trying to keep him up. And the punter's like trying to fall. He's a little white guy. He's just like, man, I'm small. Let me fall. And he's like, no, I got you, little man. And he didn't get the penalty. And so it was just this very cute slow dance that they did together. And it was so fun to watch. It was so goofy. And I saw it on Red Zone, and Scott Hansen told me everything about it. Hopefully we can get a clip up there when we upload this.
Oh, yeah. For our watchers on YouTube, y'all be able to see the clip. If not, I hope y'all seen it. If not, y'all look that up. Just look up Giants defender holds up Eagles punter, and you'll definitely see it. First video. It's hilarious, dude. He was
dancing with him.
He was trying to dodge that roughing the kicker so bad.
That was hilarious. But did you have anything else for us before we wrap it up here, Caleb?
No, not really. I know there's a couple topics we missed, of course, like maybe some head coach hirings, some speculations on where people are gonna go, but we just didn't feel like doing that in this inaugural episode. We want to do something a little more simple to start off, And
We've
also
been bouncing all around today.
yeah, all the firings have been like all the firings haven't even happened, all the hirings haven't happened, so there's not really much to talk about there yet. Like, we're just gonna start talking about something, and then by next week's episode there'll be so much more firings and hirings, and it'll just be outdated. So
Well, we just wanted to get our power rankings established within our own recordings and everything, and then with our yearly debates, I want the awards. I wanted to get that out of the way before playoff starts because that's a regular season thing, and playoffs are tomorrow. This was recorded on a Friday, and coming up, we wanted to get it up on online before the playoffs start. That way, once it's over, we can start our next episode, and we can have more topics in a better, cleaner fashion. This week it was kind of rushed. We've had some difficulties technically and with just some personal stuff, but I'm sitting here recording it on an AirPod in my little man cave. Caleb just set up his PC. We had a crazy adventure involving 3-prong devices.
Yes,
it was hilarious, but
I don't have a 3-prong plug in my room, so I had to buy a 3-prong plug extension just to plug in my PC because I recently just moved back home.
We went through a lot, but we were really excited to do this, and it's a bit jumbled up and not as scripted as it could be. It is our first episode. We were really excited to do it, and we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun too.
I had a lot of fun. I'm glad anybody tuned in to hear this. We have a lot of opinions on all sorts of sports. So at some point, we'd like to talk some basketball, maybe some mixed martial arts, and maybe some other. I'm trying to get into hockey, so there's a lot in the future that we're looking forward to. And I want to thank anybody who tuned in.
Thanks for everyone who tuned into the first episode. Thanks for anyone who tunes into any future episodes. I have a lot of hope for this series. I think we'll do well. I think y'all are gonna enjoy what's coming up soon in the future. And y'all get to see our takes and stuff. I get to go back in time to just let everyone know and brag that I was right. And, or y'all are gonna be in the comments, or someone's gonna come up to me and say, "Hey, you were completely wrong. That take is stupid." And I want that to happen. I want people to call me out on my dumb takes.
Yes. Physical confrontation is always the best kind. But we bounced around a lot. We had a lot of topics. It was a little goofy. I kind of got distracted a few times, but I definitely had some fun. And next week we're going to talk about the first round playoff, results, and maybe we'll sneak in some basketball. Definitely, I'll talk about my teams a little bit more. Caleb gets his corner every time, and then maybe we'll introduce some new topics, new ideas. We're definitely not going to do power rankings every time, but that is definitely something we're going to keep track of. And we're so with that, we're going to be definitely getting a couple social pages started. Hopefully, upload some silly clips if we can get some. And if anyone has recommendations for weekly shenanigans that we can make the last segment of the show, we're definitely open to suggestions because we don't watch every sport all the time, but we all know that there's shenanigans every single week. So if y'all are watching, keep an eye out for shenanigans.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna link our social media pages in the description of whatever you're listening to, whether that be SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Prime Podcasts, whatever that be. I'll have our personal and our business type grouped shenanigans accounts in the description for if y'all want to follow
get that all
us, send us some stuff.
So thank you all so much for tuning into our first episode. This was Shenanigans, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.